This is entitled Letters from the Resistance. My troubles started when I began my new job, which involved going from door to door, inspecting each federally subsidized housing unit, carefully verifying that the flag and the cross were prominently displayed in accordance with the law. It was not a job I enjoyed, but I kept it to save my skin. And in the office each morning, I showed up, all gung-ho. Let's find these unpatriotic, pagan bastards and boot them into the gutter with the rest of the human slime. I often said this to protect myself, as I was under suspicion for never having a tenant evicted. I just never had the heart. I was inspecting this old woman's apartment, performing my additional duty of checking for books or posters that had anything to do with peace or the environment or animal rights or poetry, when this woman handed me a letter addressed to me. It was from my friend in the underground. He had contacted me. Dear Michael, these are tragic times for the resistance. Several of our comrades have fallen to an epidemic of decapitation sickness, which has apparently spread through intimate contact with anyone carrying a large axe. Symptoms of the illness include a sudden sharp pain in the back of the neck, followed by a lack of feeling in the extremities, or anywhere else for that matter. Our attempts at treating the illness have been, so far, unsuccessful. Signed, your artist friend. This old woman who delivered the letter to me, she must have been a member of the resistance. I fled her apartment, and then I became nervous for several days. Someone in the office must have noticed my uneasiness because they assigned an agent to tail me. And as I made my daily inspection around this agent, disguised as a plumber, coincidentally entered each apartment after I was through it. It was a laughable situation, but I was terrified because I continued to receive letters from the resistance almost every day. Dear Michael, I bring you tragic news of the outcome of our largest scale operation to date. We are all vehemently opposed to the new super-intelligent billion-dollar missiles being made by the government. To disrupt the scheduled testing of these weapons, we sent out 50 idealistic young freedom fighters to chain themselves together at the testing range. Our fatal mistake was that they chained themselves at the target site and not at the launch site. For the Army did not consider them an obstacle. The memorial service will be on the 14th, but I understand if you cannot make it. I would not be able to tell you the location anyway. Signed, your artist friends. There's another letter here. Dear Michael, members of the resistance movement have become increasingly concerned that our sabotage tactics are mostly symbolic and do little to help those truly in need, namely the homeless people living in the alleys and sewers. Therefore, we enacted a plot to deliver tons of food directly to the homeless. In a brilliant, smooth operation, Maxwell hijacked an 18-wheeled McDonald's delivery truck completely filled with Big Macs and fries. We drove the truck down into the sewer system, where the starving masses greeted us with delight and devoured many helpings of 100% beef and filet-o-fish. But all did not go well. We had put out separate recycling bins for paper, plastic, aluminum, and food wastes. But the diners simply refused to cooperate. We placed plastic containers in the paper bin and discarded pickles in the aluminum bin, until Maxwell became very upset and demanded that they separate out the bin's contents carefully. At this, the sewer dwellers revolted, chasing us out and pelting us with chicken McNuggets. I do not fault them, for they do not comprehend the necessity of recycling. Signed, your artist friend. Dear Michael, sadly, We lost several comrades today when a horde of hungry rats invaded the old mill where we had been hiding out. It was an awkward situation. We could not evacuate the mill, for the secret police had patrols swarming the roads and the sky. And most of us objected to harming the rats, because they were hungry and were simply following their instincts. Thankfully, before most of us had been eaten, Jonathan, who was good with animals, befriended the rats and persuaded them to go for a run, hamster style, inside the giant water wheel that had powered the mill many years ago. As the old mill works began turning and sprang to life, we cheered at having created this natural source of energy. But our celebration halted abruptly when Martha got her head caught in the moving gears. Signed, your artist friend. I continued to work in these stressful circumstances for a few more weeks, until one day, I entered an apartment and found there my artist friend. He greeted me warmly, and I begged him to flee out the back window because I was being tailed by a government agent. Just then, the shower curtain in the bathroom flew open, and there stood the plumber. Knee-deep in bathwater, with a laser stun gun pointed at us. "Hands in the air, both of you," he ordered. But when he switched the stun gun to on, he was electrocuted in a blinding flash. He had forgotten the rule of never using electrical appliances in a bathtub. I figured it was time to move on. With my resistance friend leading the way, we headed for the resistance encampment, where, despite frequent setbacks, we will save the world. Thank you. Now we're going to have a 10-minute intermission. There's plenty of coffee in the office. Get some coffee, talk to people, meet people, whatever. And then, after that,